Please join me in giving a warm Wolfpack welcome to one of our own, today's featured commencement speaker, Nevada State Supreme Court Justice James Hardesty.
Well, hello, 2018 graduate class. Pretty cool. This is a bit intimidating. When we're in court, we don't have a crowd quite this big. President Johnson, members of the Board of Regents, distinguished faculty, family, and friends, and most of all, the afternoon session of the 2018 graduates of the University of Nevada, thank you for inviting me to share this special day with you. It is a great privilege and a high honor to join with you today in recognition of your achievement. Nearly 49 years ago, not a half century, President, I had the privilege of sitting where you are sitting, adorned in cap and gown and proud to have completed my college education. I was filled with emotions, a tremendous sense of relief and accomplishment, deep love and appreciation for the unending support and encouragement from my parents, grandparents, and my fiancée and soon-to-be wife, Sandy. Excitement for our future and, frankly, scared to death to face the real world, whatever that was going to be. Do you feel some of these emotions today? I know Sandy and my family felt an enormous sense of pride to see me graduate from college. I was the first in my family to do so. I have no doubt your family and friends are just as proud of you today. Am I right? You can yell. I think they're proud of you. What do you think? Sorry, Mr. President. We may have started something we can't stop. Ladies and gentlemen, I graduated from Nevada in 1970, and it is a unique opportunity to give the commencement speech at my alma mater. I gave my remarks a lot of thought, and as you might expect from a judge, I did some research. Interestingly, commencement speeches come in all varieties. Some impart wisdom or inspiration, others are designed to be humorous. I concluded that the best commencement addresses had one thing in common: they are short. I will tell you now, you don't ask a judge to give a short commencement address. But you can be the judge of that. This campus has changed so much since my days as a student. I remember when the Student Union was a small old building called the Jot Travis Student Union. Today you call it simply the Jot Travis Building. Joe Crowley was one of my political science professors. And I'm a Wolfpack fan through and through. Congratulations to Nevada football. I can't wait to see the bowl game. And Nevada basketball, your community is cheering you. And the entire country is captivated by your impressive success. Did you see that game last night? I'm sure glad they won it. They would have screwed up this line pretty bad. My time at Nevada changed my life. I suspect it has changed yours. I obtained an excellent education. I matured as a young adult and grew as a person. I am most proud to have served as student body president from 1969 until 1970, one of the most tumultuous times in our history. That year was noteworthy for the university, our country, and the world for many reasons. Did you know that that year Nevada was renamed the University of Nevada, Reno, and Nevada Southern became UNLV? As well, did you know I knew I'd get a lot of cheers with that line. As well, did you know that the medical school was formed in 1969? You know, it was an important year because our nation was in the middle of the Vietnam War. Much like today, issues concerning free speech, racism, gender equity, gay rights, anti-Semitism, and other forms of discrimination were central to the national political dialogue. And it was in that period when riots occurred at Kent State University, where Ohio guardsmen opened fire on student protesters of the Vietnam War, killing 4 students and injuring many more. Those riots sparked students at colleges and universities across the United States to increase demonstrations on their campuses that included sit-ins of administrative offices and the burning of buildings and books, resulting in administrations tear-gassing their students. These riots soon spread west and provoked similar protests in Nevada. We could have responded with violence and riots like the students at Kent State, but our students and our student government made a different choice. A choice that led to changes at our institution lasting longer than my time as student body president. We wanted to make changes in students' lives for things as small as improving the dining commons, and it was horrific then, to enabling students to challenge their grades and evaluate their professors. We decided it was best to focus our energy on the issues we could immediately influence, while promoting a campus dialogue on national issues. We realized that we didn't have our hands on the levers of power just yet, but what we did have was a platform to make our immediate world better, while continuing to care about and engage the broader system. The things that we could influence affected our campus life, and to that end, instead of rioting and protesting, I, along with Robin Powers, Pete Reams, and Pete Pereira, organized 3,000 students to meet then-President N.Ed Miller at the front entrance of the university at 6:30 in the morning. That's right, 3,000 students, 6:30 in the morning on October 17, 1969. I'm sure you would complain about a 10 a.m. class, but the right goal in mind, even for college students, will sacrifice sleep. We did this not to riot the president. We did this to honor the president of the university and his wife, Nina, calling it N.Ed Miller Day. You see, unlike other universities, President Miller was willing to meet with students, support student government, and open a pathway for communication with faculty and the Board of Regents. Our mission was to secure the adoption of a Student Bill of Rights, a Bill of Rights that assured students numerous protections and opportunities. And I'm proud to say that it was adopted by the Board of Regents on April 10, 1970, the last day of my service as student body president. And it provided a pathway for peaceful resolution of student grievances and access to higher education for all people, regardless of race, sex, religion, or socioeconomic status. As for issues that we couldn't directly influence, such as the outcome of the war, discrimination because of race or religion or sexual harassment and misogynistic behaviors and gay and lesbian rights, our student government created forums for discussion, inviting controversy and high-profile speakers to the campus. Those forums led to a high-level dialogue with people of different beliefs, realizing that disagreement did not make someone the enemy. Disagreement was only a starting point for conversation. Because to change someone's mind, you have to understand where they are coming from and why they believe what they believe. Now, even by today's standards, some of these speakers were highly controversial. We brought in the president of San Francisco State University, who only 3 weeks prior had tear-gassed a number of students on his campus. We also brought in Huey Newton, a representative of the Black Panthers organization, to talk about the state of race relations across the United States. And we brought in directors of the Army and Marine recruitment to discuss the Vietnam War. The list didn't end there. We secured prominent speakers to engage in the debate over gay rights and women's rights. And we even had a full-fledged sex week devoted to educating students and ending dating violence. While these forums didn't directly change any national policy, they did provide an opportunity to inform students of competing views and encourage them to think critically about the direction of our country. Much like the students of my generation who were confronted with controversy, anger, and hate, many of you have encountered much the same. So the question for us then, and the question facing you now, is how to proceed in our dialogue and our debate with one another. Do we retreat into our social enclaves and give up, or do we engage, work together, improve our lives as a community, state, and country? What path will you take? I submit that you cannot communicate when you are not listening, and you cannot listen if you are unwilling to learn. Using communication and dialogue as a tool to combat oppression is not unique to my generation. Author Brene Brown recently delved into the experiences of people with strongly held beliefs. What she found was that communication is the most essential step in progress, and perhaps the most courageous. But to do it right requires a degree of vulnerability, authentic self-awareness, and respect for others. She's discovered that you must not only be open-minded, but you must listen and desire to learn more about the other person's perspective. One of the most courageous things to say in an uncomfortable conversation is, "Tell me more." The bottom line is, we cannot assume that we know another's worldview or experiences based on how they look or what they say. Unlike some of your old textbooks, you cannot judge people based on their covers. I challenge you to read deeper. But if instead you fear either confronting other people's points of view or sharing your own, it will exacerbate the breakdown of community and add to conflict and anger. We are so polarized and rooted in our beliefs today that we immediately dismiss folks based on this otherness. The less we understand each other's differences, the more we will continue to hate others just because they are different. To quote Brene Brown again, when we engage in dehumanizing rhetoric or promote dehumanizing images, we diminish our own humanity in the process. It does, however, say volumes about who we are and the degree to which we're operating in our integrity. Dehumanizing and holding people accountable are mutually exclusive. Humiliation and dehumanizing are not accountability or social justice tools. They're emotional offloading at best and emotional self-indulgence at worst. So what does this mean for you? How will you engage with others as you leave today and start your careers? How will you treat others in your personal interactions? All of you sit in a very similar position as I did. Only a few days ago, the Nevada Independent covered a number of instances on this campus of anti-Semitism, racism, sexism, and misogyny. This campus isn't alone. There is a national uptick in these instances of violence. I believe this is because our differences are getting the better of us. Instead of using differing views as a starting point for dialogue, we are using them to justify hate and condone violence. That behavior has no place in a civilized society. As we all consider our approach to future communications, I'd like to share with you some advice from a mentor of mine. I went to law school at the University of Pacific McGeorge School of Law in Sacramento. In my second year, I took constitutional law from Anthony Kennedy. Yes, that Anthony Kennedy, later appointed Justice of the United States Supreme Court. He taught the most difficult class in law school for 3 hours twice a week for a year, and not once referred to a book, note, or piece of paper. It was an inspiring academic experience that led to a lifelong friendship. I'll never forget a speech Justice Kennedy gave where he shared these words that I think are so instructive to today's dialogue. The remedy for speech that is false is speech that is true. This is the ordinary course in a free society. The response to the unreasoned is the rational. To the uninformed, the enlightened. And to the straight-out lie, the simple truth. I am proud of this university. 49 years ago and today, it is an environment for the civil exchange of ideas and academic freedom. I hope you will, as I did, transition into the next phase of your life, engaging in our democratic process. At the end of the day, it takes a tremendous amount of courage to debate and discuss ideas with someone with whom you fundamentally disagree. Don't take the easy way out and simply disengage. Stand up for your beliefs, but always respect the right of another to offer an opposing point of view. The case for freedom, the case for the rule of law must be advanced with every generation. We trust you will accept that responsibility today, because doing so will assure your right to engage in the freedom of speech we as a country cherish. Finally, I offer you some advice for a successful career and fulfilling life. Ethics and civility play a major role in determining one's character. Be ethical in the conduct of your affairs and civil in your discourse with others. From the day we begin our career, we invest in our reputations, so I urge all of you to invest wisely. Do that, and you shall leave a legacy for future generations to follow. Do that, and you shall improve society and demonstrate that we are indeed a nation of character. To all of you, you have my respect and congratulations for your extraordinary achievement. I am excited for the future of our community, our state, and our country because of you. For today, we entrust our future in you. Thank you for the privilege of sharing this celebration with all of you today.